So I've stated on multiple occasions that Rio 2 is a great 8 out of 10 movie. Not as good as the first, but it's still really great. God, was I stupid? Like, I have never seen my opinion on a film change this much since A Bug's Life. Oh yeah, I went there. And also, Bug's Life is bad. Like, I don't know why I give it a 6 out of 10. Anyways, I mean, it's bad. Like, really bad. Rio 2 is really, really, really bad. So, for episode 120, I'm going to review it. I've put myself through enough misery with reviewing a lot of bad movies, so here you go. For episode 120, here's Rio 2. My change opinion. I don't think it's good anymore. And I was blinded because I was a stupid child when this first came out in cinemas, as all children are. To recap, Rio is one of my favorite animated movies. It has an interesting story, likable and interesting characters, beautiful animation, great comedy, and fantastic music. And fantastic musical numbers. It's everything I want in an animated movie. It's also a big part of my childhood, and it still holds up today. It's even my home screen. When I was younger, I used to prefer Rio 2 over the first, because, like I said, I was stupid, as my children are. Before rewatching it, I knew that it wasn't as good as the first film. I didn't think it was a masterpiece. I don't think the first film is a masterpiece, but I still think it's a fantastic 9 out of 10. But I still loved it. After rewatching it, though, boy does this film stink. However, the problem is, it's a lot more depressing to talk about this film, because it's a film I used to love, and now I hate. I don't hate, I just dislike. That's a lot more sadder than just going into a film and hating it the moment I watch it. Like a certain other sequel that I can't stand, but I'm not going to speak about because you have heard me talk about it all the time, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Maybe sometime in the next 10 episodes, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, however, I think before I tear it to shreds, I think I should talk about the story. So, what's this film about? Well, it's about Blue and his new wife, Jewel, who, discovering that their owners, Linda and Tulio, have potentially discovered a brand new flock of blue macaws that have been in the Amazon jungle for a long time. So Blue, Jewel, their 3 kids, their friends, Pedro, Nico, and Raphael, travel to the Amazon to find them. Actually, wait a second. Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't actually what the film is about. I'm sorry. I mean, it's in the film, but it isn't the main story. The film is actually about Blue trying to gain the respect of Jewel's father, who survived a purge of blue macaws, but lost his wife and Jewel. The wife is dead, because there was a dead mother in an animated film. Actually, no. I'm sorry, this isn't what the film is about either. It's about Blue trying to one-up this other bird who used to be romantically involved with Jewel before she was lost, and this new bird is voiced by Bruno Mars. Actually, no. It's about the blue macaws fighting a perpetual war with these red birds who want to control the entire Brazil nut stash. Actually, no. It's about Linda and Tulio trying to stop these loggers from cutting down the trees and killing all the birds. Actually, no. It's about Nico, Pedro, Raphael, and Carla, one of Blue and Jewel's 3 children, setting up a music and festival / competition thing and holding auditions. Actually, no. It's about Nigel, the first film, trying to kill Blue, dimming with a poisonous rock to do it. So, what's this film about? Too many things. Yeah, you can summarize all the problems with this film by just trying to read the description and figure out the A-plot. That's because there isn't an A-plot. It's all B-plots, and they're all bad. They're all fighting each other for more screen time. And the film just can't juggle this many plots at the same time. It gets cramped, and it's overloaded way too quickly. Anyways, aside from that, it's not right to judge a movie just by its bad story alone. So, how are the characters? Oh, thanks for asking. Blue is a pathetic, jealousy-fueled dweeb who is the most useless character in the film until the ending, where he's suddenly very smart and powerful. In the first film, he was weak, but he wasn't useless. There were moments where he had his moments, and showed Jewel that he wasn't just a crappy, flightless bird. That realization is what began to fuel the romantic connection. Blue and Jewel's romantic connection in this film is about as good as Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas from the War of the Roses. Christ, their romantic connection is more believable than theirs in this. they never listen to each other and just constantly ostracize each other throughout the entire film. And this just isn't how they acted in the first film at all. I will know. I've seen it a lot of times. Speaking of which, Jewel is horribly unlikable. Still hot as hell, but horribly unlikable. She berates Blue for not listening to her and only caring about himself. Sorry. When she hasn't been listening to Blue throughout this entire film, doesn't take the time to listen to Blue's turmoil and suffering he's experiencing. All the other characters are nearly as funny or memorable as they were in the first film, but it isn't as bad as Blue and Jewel's character assassination. It's hard to feel bad for Blue watching his wife get potentially cucked by this Bruno Mars bird, but it's hard to feel bad for him because he's just so unlikable and hateable, and you don't care about Jewel and her turmoil of... Actually, she doesn't even have a turmoil. She's living the life. So what's the point if no character has any kind of turmoil? Jewel had that in the first one. Blue had that in the first one. Only Blue has it in this one, and Jewel doesn't. You see the pattern now? Also, this film has like 4 villains, and aside from Gabby, they're all bad. Nigel just isn't as funny as he is in the first film, and also he's 10 times more cringe. I hate to use the word cringe, but that's just what it is. The evil loggers are boring and unfunny, and for some reason the main logger villain, let me go down a bit, is called... You're never going to believe this. Well, his name is just it's such a cool and incredible name. Big Boss. I'm not joking. His name is Big Boss. That is as great as naming the protagonist in Tenet the protagonist. Whoa, slow down, Christopher Nolan. You're going too fast. It's just so... I'm not having any fun talking about this because it just feels depressing. But anyways, going back to the villains. So like I said, the evil loggers are boring and unfunny, and the Redbirds are also boring and unfunny, and for some odd reason, they are redeemed in the end, even though they did nothing to earn it. For context, so they had this soccer death match thing in the middle of the film, and Blue went on to play the game, and he kicked a ball into the wrong net, the other team. So now, the Redbirds own the entire Brazil nutstash because of Blue. Another great reason to hate everyone. Everyone. Oh my god. Anyways, but like the Redbirds are portrayed as evil, but for some reason they're portrayed as great by the end. Like they help Blue, Jewel, the hundreds of macaws, the other animals to fight against the evil loggers. So like, yeah, but like that's cool, but they still own the entire Brazil nutstash, and the blue macaws are left in the dust. Also, Jewel's father is boring and unlikable, like most of the other characters. Like father, like daughter. He has this human hatred because his wife died and he lost his daughter for a long time. Yeah, that can mess up anyone. Jewel had the same human hatred in the first film, but it took the whole film to convince her that some humans are okay. Blue helped her realize this. She got her wing injured at the end of the film, and then Blue brought her back to Linda, Tulio, and the boy. And there was a clear time lapse between Tulio helping Jewel and Jewel getting her wing fixed. We didn't actually see any of that, but it's implied and it makes sense. It looks like it took a while, which is good. I like that. It's a realistic depiction of someone who had a long hatred of humans, but eventually got out of that with a lot of help. But in this film, the father changes his whole perception of humans in 1 second, like that. And Linda helps him, and then he's suddenly on the other side. I'm sorry, what? What? What a great way to rush this potentially interesting storyline. Wait, storyline? That means this is another story. Better add that to the list with the other 5,000 storylines. God, this movie sucks. Sorry. Comedy's right here to miss. Sometimes it can get big laughs, and other times it can make me want to castrate myself. However, most of the time it's just fine. Now, I've just torn this film apart, and it kind of got a bit nostalgia criticky. Like, anyone watching this film will understand what I mean if they're like a big fan of the first film. Jonah Who knows what I'm talking about. I've seen his Blue Sky ranking. I know what he thinks of Rio 2. He hates it. He thinks it's the worst. He thinks it's the worst Blue Sky film. I don't think it's the worst. I still think that Ice Age 4 is worse. Ice Age 6 not a Blue Sky film. Stop saying it is. By Ice Age 6, I mean Buck Wild, because there's an actual Ice Age 6 in production, probably going to suck as bad. But anyways, like I said, I just tore this film apart. Are there any salvageable things? Like, is there anything good in this movie whatsoever? Well, yeah, it's still Rio. It's not devoid of any substance whatsoever. The music, for the most part, is still very good and memorable. I still hum a few of them to this day. However, yeah, that Nigel song in the middle is just awful. Probably even worse than his song in the first film. I mean, his song in the first film was already my least favorite song in it, so it doesn't help this song either. It's just so hard to get through this song without wanting me to pour bleach in my eyes and repent for my sins. Wait, wasn't this the positive section of the video? Oh yes, it was. Other positives include the voice acting. It still feels passionate and not lazy, like a lot of other films. Dreamworks. But even though, obviously, this is a big problem with a lot of animation where celebrities are choosing to voice characters just because, I still believe that the actors chosen for this film were perfectly casted. It wasn't just overpaid celebrities who can't voice act, or even act for that matter, getting more money and half-assing it. These actors actually tried, and it's great to see. Also, ashamed to admit it, after just smashing this film into bits. Wait, I didn't mean like that. After stepping on this film to bits, I admit that there is one singular thing in this film that is done better than the original. No, I'm not going crazy, I think, but just listen. My biggest problem with the first film, as spectacular as it was that it kept interrupting the damn songs, so they couldn't be brought to their full potential. Don't get me wrong, I still love all the songs in that movie, except Nigel's song, but that always bugged me for all the time. Like, they never finished the song. They never finished the songs. However, it's nice to actually see that the filmmakers let the characters finish their songs. Also, the animation is still as beautiful as it always is. And the Bruno Mars bird, I know he has a name, but I'm not calling him Beisho. And apparently that's his nickname. I don't even know what his actual name is. You think I'm going to learn it? It's Rio 2. I don't care. And also, of course they have Bruno Mars voicing this character because it's 2014. And we have to have celebrities in our film because it's a kids' film. And fuck me. This character starts off boring and unlikable, but becomes pretty funny when he has a mental breakdown at the end. That sounds really horrible, but trust me, it's funny. Also, yeah, I hate this character as well, so it makes sense. Anything else good? The final battle's fine. Actually, I just mentioned how doesn't make sense. There's multiple problems that happen during this fight, so yeah, it's not good. So yeah, that's all I got. That's all the positives it has. The movie sucks. This is not how to make a sequel. A poor bastardization that doesn't understand anything about the original in any way whatsoever, in any capacity. Stories, I say stories, plural. There are too many of them. Are all over the place and convoluted. The characters are either horribly unlikable, ungodly annoying, or painfully boring. The comedy is hit or miss, Nigel's song is terrible, the pacing drags, and the ending feels unfinished. Trust me, I would know. First film, complete ending. This film, Earwig and the Witch is more completed. Actually, no, I take that back. That film just doesn't even have any ending whatsoever. With that said, the music is really good, the animation is still beautiful as always, and the final battle is okay, as I mentioned. Did I mention that? Yeah, I did. But yeah, this film was pretty bad. Now, despite this heavy bashing, I don't think this is the biggest sequel bastardization. Airplane 2 the sequel sold 1,000 times worse than this. Damn it, of course I had to mention that. Sorry. This is still a 4.5 out of 10, like Xenogenesis. What a film to compare this to. It's not a film that has scarred me for life, like that travesty. It's just sad. Like, getting serious for a second, this isn't a case with like Airplane 2 where I hated it from the start. This is a case where I used to like this, but after rewatching it, it just depresses me because now I have to live in a world where this film sucks. It just makes me feel sad that I have to live in a world where that film sucks now. It's just sad. That's all I can describe Rio 2 is as. It's just a sad film. Well, hopefully Rio 3 isn't as bad as this. God, I just want to review something good for once. What? Rocky films? Hell yeah! Lots of film franchises I want to review. See you later in the month of July as I'm writing this, even though it's now September because I have a massive procrastination problem, when we traverse the Philadelphia art steps to review the first 5 Rocky films. Enjoy it. Hopefully. If you like my opinions and my content. If you don't, that's fine. Bye!